coffee, 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 coffee.
All right, now we can get started. Welcome to our Day 2 coverage of CES 2019. I'm standing outside the beautiful Venetian Hotel, and it is a gorgeous day here in downtown Las Vegas. Anyway, we just got done talking to MSI at their suite, and I know we mentioned a couple days ago the GS75 stealth laptop that came out. There's another one that I really wanted to focus on, and that was the PS63 Modern. Much like the GS75, it has quite a few of the same features, featuring a much smaller power supply and a much larger trackpad, about 35% larger than the previous version. Spec-wise, it is very impressive, especially considering how thin the laptop is at just 16mm. It features an 8th generation Core i7 U-based CPU, quad-core, not dual-core like most Ultrabooks tend to be. Also features a true all-day battery life at 16 hours. There's a 1080p screen that covers 100% of the sRGB spectrum on an IPS panel with a very, very slim bezel on the 15.6-inch screen. This is also a Max-Q design laptop with a full GTX 1050 4GB installed. So the thing is going to be thin, quiet, fast, and very, very powerful. But of course, we need to get on to the big news of the morning, and that is AMD's press conference, where they unveiled the new AMD 3000 series Zen 2 CPUs. Now, a lot of people had predicted 12 and 16 core chips are coming. However, AMD only announced an 8-core, but on a single 7nm chiplet, with possibly room for another one later on. So keep your eye out for that. However, this is not going to be a slouch, and all the improvements that we hoped to come probably have come true. This is going to feature, again, an 8-core 16-thread processor that AMD touted as scoring a 2023 in Cinebench, which is nearly identical to what a 9900K scores at 4.7 gigahertz. Now, the difference is on the 7nm process that the AMD 3000 based CPUs are 75 watt TDP versus Intel's at 125 watts. The rest of the pricing details are anyone's guess at this point, but again, they will be out sometime late Q2 or early Q3. But of course, AMD's biggest news for the day is probably the product they're releasing next month on February 7th, and that is the brand new Radeon 7 GPU. This is the world's first 7nm consumer GPU. It's going to feature 3,840 stream processors on 60 compute units. It also has 16 gigabytes of HBM2 memory. AMD showed off a number of comparisons to the RTX 2080 versus the Radeon 7 in a number of DirectX 11 and 12 titles and scored nearly equal to the NVIDIA competition. However, they also showed a 10 to 15% improvement in Vulkan titles. The GPU is going to be released on February 7th for $699, and be sure to stay tuned to Craft Computing for any benchmark numbers that I can provide you. Continuing our coverage here at CES 2019, it is day 3. Finally, we just got done visiting the ZOTAC booth here at Caesars Palace. First off, they're introducing a couple RTX 2060 cards, starting with the RTX 2060 Twin Fan. It has the same 1920 CUDA cores that we know and love, and it is going to have a 1680 megahertz boost clock. It will be released sometime later this month. Also, they are releasing the RTX 2060 Amp Edition. Exact same specs, exact same looks, but it is going to come with an 1800 megahertz boost clock. Prices on both of those will be released very shortly, and again, both those cards will be coming at the end of January. Now, ZOTAC is pretty well known for miniaturizing a lot of components that most other manufacturers don't even attempt to, and that is no more clear than in the QX3 P5000. The CPU on this bad boy is a Xeon E2136 6-core processor boosting all the way up to 4.5 gigahertz. It features dual SODIMM slots supporting up to 32 gigabytes of 2666 ECC memory. It has both a 1 gigabit and a 2.5 gigabit killer Ethernet for dual LAN support. Alongside all that is Thunderbolt 3, 4 HDMI 2.0 ports, and 6 USB 3.1 and 1 Type-C port. Pricing will be announced very shortly, and they're hoping to have this out sometime in late Q1. Oh, it is so good to be home. Welcome back to home base here in Oregon, and while I had a fantastic time down at CES in Vegas last week, I'm also very happy to be home. Now, there's a couple of things that I didn't get to on camera last week, both due to time constraints and due to, on Friday, me pretty much having lost my voice, and on camera I was just terrible. Anyway, we're gonna get to that stuff right now. Starting with our booth visit to Deepcool, they're introducing a couple new cases, a couple new air coolers, but the thing I'm most excited for is probably their Assassin 3 air cooler. It is a dual 140mm tower cooler that boasts a 280 watt TDP. The Assassin 3 is going to support all major sockets with the exception of TR4, so sorry Threadripper fans, you'll have to get your air cooling jollies elsewhere. But if you watched my AIO versus air cooler video, which I will link right up here, I'm actually really excited to put this up against some of the more high-end and premium options of AIOs, given that the Assassin 3 is coming in at only $99. EK Waterblocks is next on the list, and more than the products that they announce is more kind of a brand shift for them. They're actually segmenting their products into different product families to make it, number one, a little bit more differentiating from one another, and number two, easier for you as a buyer to know exactly what you're getting. So for instance, the Quantum lineup is going to be at the top of their list, and it includes things like the all-new EK Velocity water block, which I introed right up there. Sorry, this is going to plug a lot of my previous videos. That also includes the new Vector GPU blocks that EK announced around the same time. The Quantum lineup is going to take the place of the old Supremacy lineup, but the look of the Supremacy is actually going down to the EK Classic lineup. Now, this is going to be a more budget-friendly versions of their premium products, and again, should share a design language across the entire family. Rounding us out is the EK Liquid family of parts, which is their 100% aluminum lineup. As these parts are 100% aluminum, they are not going to be compatible with the Classic or Quantum lineups from EK, but EK has been slowly expanding the lineup of fittings, accessories, and blocks available for the Liquid family. One other final note from EK is they're going to start making custom distribution blocks for a number of popular cases out on the market. It's a look that's normally been reserved for only the elitist of the elite water cooling enthusiasts, and it might soon be yours for a pretty reasonable price. Gigabyte announced 3 RS RTX 2060 cards coming to the market, and in fact by the time this video goes live, they're probably already going to be on store shelves. Starting with the WindForce as the most budget-friendly option, a quick search on Amazon shows it's actually selling at $349, so kudos to Gigabyte for hitting that mythical MSRP. There's also going to be the WindForce OC version for just a couple of bucks more, and they're also coming out with an RS ITX version of the card as well. Gigabyte is also trying their hands at full-size PCIe NVMe storage drives, and of course, it's going to have a little bit of RGB flair to it. Now again, this is not an M.2 drive and should offer insane performance with read speeds up to 3,480 megabytes per second and writes of up to 3,080 megabytes per second, thanks to 512 megabytes of DDR cache. Now, prices have not been announced, but it will be available in capacities of both 512 gig and 1 terabyte. Our final booth visit of the trip was to Corsair, and while they have a number of really cool products coming out, like the Harpoon wireless RGB gaming mouse and an updated version of the Corsair One gaming desktop, I'm probably most excited for Elgato's new key lights. Now, these are LED softboxes that are controllable through Elgato software or through integration with their Stream Deck. You can adjust brightness, color temp, and a host of other features directly from the software. Pricing is going to be set at $199, which is actually pretty comparable to a lot of other LED panels on the market. And you also get a desk clamp mount, so you can actually clamp these onto a desk, push the desk against a wall, and still have adjustable and controllable lighting. And that is going to wrap up our CES 2019 coverage here on Craft Computing. Huge thank you to all the vendors who walked us through their booths, gave their time, and showed us all the really cool products that they're coming out with, including those that we didn't have an appointment to and we just gate crashed. Also a huge thank you to Rhett, who went down there unpaid, shared a hotel room with me, and helped bring you coverage of CES. So Rhett, you are the man. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already. And if you're interested in purchasing any of the products that I featured here in this video, make sure to click the Amazon affiliate link down in the video description. If they're available, they're down there. CES and Vegas were both an absolute blast, and I hope you had as much fun watching the videos as I did making them. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.